one, Kenya's watching.
Touch a life and change someone.
While 70% of the Kenyan population is made up of the youth, we find that this is a group of people who do not have access to sexual education and reproductive health. We are finding that we are having a lot of social issues with this population. We are finding that we are having unwanted pregnancies, early marriages, violence. The list is endless. My name is Irina Yimba, standing in for Noella. Welcome to the Touch Show, where we're in the business of touching lives. As we said today, our show is all about reproductive health. And mainly we are looking at the youth because 70% not having something as basic as reproductive health, that can be something quite big. So there's an organization that came out and said that they want to address this need. They want to narrow that gap and make sure that the youth of Kenya, maybe Africa, but now speaking in the context of Kenya, they're going to come and make sure that they address this need. The organization is called NIA. We have a representative, but just before she joins us, let's have a look at this.
According to Kenya Demographic Health Survey, 36% of Kenya's population consists of people under the age of 10 to 24. 5 out of 10 adolescents begin childbearing before the age of 20, while almost half of adolescents, that is 46%, without education, begin childbearing as compared with only 10% of those with secondary education.
When someone has a regular sexual background, you can access the community.
8 out of 10 boys and 7 out of 10 girls have had sex before the age of 20. It's probably out of this worrying statistic that someone somewhere thought wisely that it was time to take action and empower the youth, and NIA was born. Network for Adolescents and Youth of Africa, NIA, is a youth-serving network that was launched in 2001 during the second International Conference on Adolescent Reproductive Health and Rights convened by PPFA International.
The HIV positive, because they didn't talk about these things. Now, getting back to family planning, when should it start? For me, as long as you have the potential to have a family, you should start family planning now.
NIA was formed in order to bring together and create a sense of solidarity among youth individuals of different religious, cultural, ethnic, and geographical backgrounds who are committed to promoting advocacy for adolescents' reproductive health.
Preventing unplanned and unwanted pregnancy.
Through training, mentorship, various programs tailored to fit the youth, the program hopes to demonstrate new and innovative ways to create awareness in reproductive health.
Tufanye mustanding, hakuna kitu inaweza happen.
This evening, to talk to us about NIA, we are joined on set by one Miss Kuboka. Please welcome on set. Help me in welcoming Miss Kuboka. Now, Miss Kuboka, you're here to tell us about NIA.
Yes.
Could you kindly give us a brief history?
NIA is the Network for Adolescents and Youth of Africa, which was launched in 2001. Currently by the PPFA, which stands for Planned Parenthood Federation of America. We have branches regionally. Kenya is one of them. Then we also have a branch in Uganda and Nigeria. Mm-hmm. Our major area of focus is on reproductive health and rights among young people. So we purely help in advocating for better reproductive health services among the youth by the use of advocacy. That's on media and signing of petitions, trying to influence policy and decision makers. Yes.
Okay, I'm thinking reproductive health is something that goes beyond, cuts across every age set.
Yes.
Why did you pick on the youth?
We picked on the youth because we realized that from the age of adolescence, most young people are in a crisis, and there's a stage called identity versus role confusion. So most young people are completely confused at this particular moment, and they really don't have the right time to make decisions per se. Okay. So we purely pick them because that is the most important time in a person's life, yes. And that's when you get to make the most important decisions in your life. So if you make a simple mistake, it's easy for you to mess around the rest of your life.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm thinking you probably engage them in activities, yes, that would then lead to this. Could you kindly take us through some of the activities?
Some of the major activities we do include media advocacy. We use radio programs and now venturing into TV, just to make sure that we train the young people we have as youth advocates. We have a network of over 20 different organizations that we work with. So we've taken our young people through a comprehensive training on reproductive health issues, ranging from health financing and budgeting, parent-youth communication, relationships, gender, and sexuality itself. So we equip young people so that they may be able to go and disseminate the same information to other young people by the use of radio shows, currently ongoing. Then apart from that, we also have a project called PET, that is Participatory Education Theatre, whereby we use pure puppetry to also empower the community on reproductive health and rights. Then we also have a segment on policy advocacy, which we use petitions to influence key decision makers in the community. That includes MPs, any decision leaders at grassroots levels, and also young people who are also leaders.
Okay, you've said that you launched in 2001, so that's like 11 years later. What impact do you suppose it's had?
I would say the impact is quite tremendous, since hosting over 20 different organizations under our network is quite a plus for us. And then being an organization that purely majors on advocacy is also a great plus for us. And we've been able to reach a lot of young people and making sure that they get the right information when it comes to reproductive health and rights. Okay. So to us, it's been very huge.
20 organizations, namely, how do you partner with them as NAYA?
Okay, basically NAYA stands for Network for Adolescents and Youth of Africa. Okay. So it means it's a network that comprises of different other organizations which fall under us. So we get to recruit organizations which do different things, ranging from issues of disability, sports, young people who are living positively, those who are doing other reproductive health issues but using different strategies, and then incorporate them in the network and use their strengths to reach out to the young people at grassroots levels and also in the slums areas. Yes. Okay,
you've said about the media, you've only said about radio, you said you're soon going TV.
Yes.
How far is that? And
we've been able so far to do quite a number of sessions. 2 weeks ago we had an interview on NTV. In the breakfast show. We've also had a discussion on sexuality and religion on K24, and we still have some sessions that are going to kickstart on GBS very, very soon.
Okay, so the sessions you're talking about, are they going to be are they going to be gradual? Are they going to be seasonal? Are they going to be something a youth can tune in and watch every day?
Yes.
Not necessarily having to rely on an interview.
Yes, we are working on that. It's quite a long process, but we are hoping for the best and hoping that we are going to have particular sessions and slots on the different radio and TV stations that young people can be able to identify with and know that they can be able to stay tuned and listen to what we have installed for them.
Okay.
Yes.
Costs. I'm sure it's not a very cheap venture.
Yes, it's not.
Yes. How do you manage to run your programs?
We had funding, a lot of funding from HIVUS, but apparently the funding we had ended. Okay. So through the different relationships we've created, particularly with the media house, we've been able to write down proposals, and thus we've been able to get airtime from them. And since it's something that they've seen need in regard to what the young people are facing through and the different challenges they are going through, it was something they said it's something worth taking, and thus we've been able to get at least time to be able to go and articulate these issues. Yes.
Challenges, I'm thinking it's big.
They are very, very many. I'm sure I cannot be able to exhaust, but just to mention but a few. Of course, when most people hear it's an organization, they think, oh man, these people have so much money. That's one challenge. And that's getting at times slots in the different radio stations becomes quite a whole process. Then apart from that, we are targeting MPs, which we know is a great challenge. It's very easy. It's very hard for us to get them because of their tight schedules, and getting them to sign some of the petitions which we work with as a NIA, for them to be able to commit themselves to advocating for some of the issues we've been able to do so far is quite cumbersome also on our side. Then apart from that, we also on the lead on trying to make sure that any policy that is being implemented in the country regarding adolescents' reproductive health and rights, we are actually involved in it. And we realize that there's so much process also involved in that. It takes so much time for the approval process and also for it to kickstart in terms of implementation.
Vision, mission?
Vision, making sure that we give reproductive health services to young people and making them youth-friendly. Because we realize that most young people, particularly the young people we work with, most of them suffer from issues of STDs, STIs. But when they go to the clinics, someone will start asking you, so where did you get this from? So we are trying to make sure that the young people we are working with, we know and we understand most young people are very sexually active. We want to make sure that they access information, for starters. Number two, that just in case they contract any kind of infection, they're going to be treated without any stigma and discrimination, and we are going to give them required information for them to make healthy decisions in life.
5 years from now, Naya's achievements, where do you see? What do you? Okay, I'm sure you've probably given yourselves a timeline and decided within this time we need to cover this. What is that you intend to have achieved?
We'd want to have our own TV or radio program that purely addresses challenges affecting young people in the country.
Yeah.
Yes.
Reproductive health related or
purely reproductive health issues, because reproductive health entails an aspect of health in it. The issue of parent-youth communication, an aspect of sexuality and religion, which is not being addressed in most of our churches, an aspect of relationships, gender, and life skills development and mentorship as well.
Okay, you spoke of the media. I'm wondering, do you partner with churches at any one point?
We are trying to get into that. Apparently, we are starting to do that. We are trying to make sure that we make sure that most religious leaders who are working with any churches around are incorporated in what we are doing, particularly in our programs, so that they can be able to create open forums in church circles for people to talk openly about sexuality and generally about reproductive health and rights.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add?
I think this is a very timely program, I would say. I'm greatly impressed by this initiative. It's up to us as young people to take this as a challenge. Let us not wait for other people to come up and do things for you. You can think big, but let's start small. A dog was once a puppy. We all need to remember that. The problem we have with our young people is that we want things to come instantly. We want big dreams. We want to drive the flyest cars and all that, but we don't really want to work hard. So we have to work hard. Let's think big, start small, and act now. It's going to greatly help us.
Okay. On that puppy dog issue, I'm sure you probably have questions for her. Kindly, this is your time to ask.
Ignatius from KIPS. I would like to know if you do hold open interaction with the youth, then advise them, or the only means of the only way you can reach to them is by help of the media. Then if so, where do you hold these meetings? Because with me, this is my first time to hear for your organization.
Okay, just to respond to your question, we have, apart from the media advocacy programs, we have a lot of consultative forums we have with young people at grassroots levels, particularly Mathare and Dagoretti. So maybe to be of help, you would join our Facebook page and be getting more information from there, or be part of our network, because we work with youth groups, not really per se individuals.
My name is Mohammed from KIPS. My question is, what were the challenges that you faced from the beginning as your program is focused to the youth?
One major challenge we faced when we are starting off is the issue of getting funding. And as we all know, it's not easy for an organization that is starting up to get long-term funding. So we were purely working on short-term contracts, and that was quite a challenge for us, getting financial assistance and funding to be able to run some of the projects we have.
I'm Ian from Kenya Institute of Professional Studies. My question is that what are some of the measures that you are putting in place to make sure that you are reaching the young people who are not mainly in town? They are up countries there. Maybe or your organization is just based within towns. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question. We have a network in Kisumu that is also composed of almost 15 other different organizations that work at grassroots levels. One of the major things we do is have monthly consultative forums for the young people who are at the grassroots levels. And then apart from that, apart from dealing with maybe TV and radio, you realize that we also have vernacular stations. So we also use these vernacular stations, particularly those that are reaching out to the people who are in the community level or those who are out of town, to be able to articulate reproductive health issues in the language they best understand.
I'm Debbie from KGJ. I wanted to ask, you've told us that there are many network members in the organization, so I wanted you to tell us what are some of the activities and programs that they get to benefit from NIA.
One of the major strengths we have, particularly with having the different network organizations we are working with, is getting to organize a lot of trainings for them. So we do a lot of capacity buildings sessions. Then apart from that, we get to also train them and equip them to be able to go out and act as youth advocates, particularly on the different radio sessions we are having and in the different forums we are also having at grassroots levels with the different young people we work with. So that's how we get to engage and involve them in the many activities we are doing.
So Ms. Kuboka, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for addressing all the youthful issues that we have. Seeing as most of our audience is the youth, and I'm sure our audience at home are also appreciating most of that. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
As we all know, in a traditional African setup, it was considered a total taboo to speak about sex or sexual issues in the households or in public. But now times have changed, and now it's subjected to public debate. So we have one community-based organization called Brotherhood and Peace Initiative. They came out and decided that they're going to address this. We have some representatives from that organization, but before that, let's have a look at what they have.
Korokocho is the fourth largest informal living setup in Nairobi.
Joining us on set today is Joyce from Brotherhood and Peace Initiative. Kindly help me in welcoming Joyce. Okay, Joyce, tell us a bit about Brotherhood and Peace Initiative.
Okay, Brotherhood and Peace Initiative is a community-based organization. It is located at Korogocho. It was established in the year 2010, in July to be precise, by a group of young people who had come together collectively with an aim of they had a vision of attaining a peaceful, crime-free and clean environment because of the state of Korogocho as is. So that's why they came together. Our mission is to engage youth in a collective action, to pay attention to social disorder, and through evidence-based program, that is role mentorship, youthful leadership. We also have campaigns and advocacy in the community where we are pushing forward with the peace agenda. So those are some of the things that we are doing with the youth. Yeah.
All right. You've said that offenders, former offenders.
Yes.
Is it that I stole a chicken and as such my mother beat me up? That's petty offense at home. I do not know if you could probably expound on that for the sake of our viewers.
Yes. Offenders is anyone with a criminal behavior. It's a behavior problem. Crime is a behavior problem. And so we are actually based on a behavior change model. And so we are trying to assist the youth who have this behavior, criminal behavior, to reform. And so anything, even if it's like snatching or murder, stabbing, any kind of crime, sexual crimes, even engaging in prostitution is a crime by law in Kenya. All those are one of the behavioral changes that we need to take place in the youth.
All right. So you decide to zero in on Korogocho.
Yes.
Why Korogocho?
Because Korogocho is one of the areas that has been abandoned over the years. It is one of the areas that there's been increased crime rate. And in relation to sexual and reproductive health, where Health Dimensions Africa is coming on board and having one of the objectives is to reduce the sexual violence in Korogocho. It is very high in Korogocho. We have sexual crimes like rape, sodomy, defilement, and this is among children and youth. And so that is why we picked on Korogocho. And also most of the members who are now in the Brotherhood and Peace Initiative, they are from Korogocho. And so, yeah, that's why we picked on Korogocho basically. Okay,
so we have several other slums in Kenya, because if you're saying that those crimes are rampant, and especially sexual related crimes, including child abuse, sodomy, and those are pretty serious offenses. And I'm thinking if they're being meted by the youth, maybe on the youth or children, say, and it actually affects Korogocho more, or is it that would you then say it's a slum problem? Would you then say it's more of Korogocho? If it's Korogocho, mainly, if it's majorly featuring in Korogocho, why do you think that may be the case?
It's mainly featuring Korogocho because Korogocho is one of the areas that lacks surveillance, and social security actors and the community, they are not at par presently. That is one of the challenges that we see. And because of that lack of surveillance, there's a lot of social disorder and lawlessness, because there's no one who is actually checking what people are doing. And that's why this kind of behavior is rampant in an informal settlement setup. And Brotherhood and Peace Initiative is engaging in Korogocho first. We want to be a model organization. If this succeeds, then we can be able to stretch out into Kibera, into Mkuru kwa Jenga. So we want to see a successful over the time, maybe in the next 5 years. We want to see how this can be a model that can be adopted nationally and even internationally. Yes.
These young people, and naturally they're in an environment that is foreign to them because they see it otherwise. But then at the same time, you come as a group of people who've committed offense. Is it because the area where you come from, you can be able to identify people who've actually been known to have committed these crimes, and as such, you're able to easily come together and decide to form an organization to address most of those needs?
Okay, what we do is we actually we are getting people who have been convicted of crime, and we have people who are released every day from jail, and so we try to locate those ones who have come from jail and trying to give them an easy way to be accepted back into the community, and also do some follow-ups, because we believe that when you're in prison, there's some reformation that has taken place there in the prison, and then we are aware that in the prison there's also other reformation programs that take place, like they're giving skills, like if it's carpentry, if it's dance. Like just the other day we was on TV, they showed us that even the youth who are in prisons, they have talents and abilities. And so once they are back into the community, we want to build that and just to give them a place where they can continue the reformation process. And also we do the reintegration. We reintegrate them back into the community because we have had community credibility. We have a credibility as a group, Brotherhood and Peace Initiative. So when we allow the reformed persons to come back and engage in activities with us, so the community are able to accept them back over time. Yes.
What do you do? How do you teach the? Okay, because I'm sure you engage the other youths who are not who don't necessarily have a record.
Yes.
How do you do this? Do you have forums?
Yes, we have that is now a prevention program, and a prevention program is targeting children from 10 to 13 years, because we realize that the onset of crime will start at age 13. So what we do, we have a prevention program. So that's where we do the role mentorship, and we say we are all mentors. So we have an after-school program in partnership Family Hope Initiative. So we have an after-school program, and so we go and meet with the children, and we want to give them life skills and also talk to them and just help assisting them identify with role models. So we hooking them up with role models who they can look up to, because some of these children, they don't have role models. If a child's mother is brewing changa, or the dad is maybe somewhere who is really serious, maybe in crime, so these children have grown up not having role models. So we are trying to offer these children role models and mentorship over time. So we have a program that we are looking into, connecting the children with a mentor, so that over 3 years a mentor can have maybe 2 children. Over the 3 years, the mentor can follow up with the child, and the mentor can be anyone. I can even approach you, and then you opt and volunteer to take up a child and mentor this child for 3 years, so that by the time the child is 13 years, we believe that they have formed and they can be able to make better choices to either not go into crime or not to get into crime. So we build on those skills. Okay. Yes.
You've said that there are very talented individuals behind bars.
Yes.
And I'm sure there are several activities out of those talents that can be used to disseminate information better.
Yes.
If you have any of those, could you kindly share with us?
Yes, like we have, what I noticed is that we have youth who are very talented, especially in music, dance, arts, photography, and theaters, all those kind of artistic talents that they have. Because again, we noticed that most of them spent a lot of time out of school because of economic difficulties, so they were not able to get into school fees and all that, so they missed out a lot. But then they have these talents and skills within themselves, and so we use that, and hoping that maybe this can be transferred into a way they can rely and depend on it and gain some economic gain out of it, and not engage into crime. And we also use them in the program, like we are also organizing a peace forum and concert, and so that is going to be in next month. And we're going to use the youth are going to come and showcase their talents, music and all that. And the theme will be peace in Korogocho, Kariobangi and Babadogo. So we'll have young people who are roller skating, we'll have those ones who are rapping and singing, but the theme will be peace. And we have very good instrumentalists at the same time, magnificent talent that is not out there in most places, because there's all that negative publicity about the young people in informal settlements. But we have very great talents and ability that is going to come out in October next month, and the theme will be peace. Yes, to advance peace, especially because of next year's elections. So we're going to, the youth are going to feel very important people, and they continue to feel very important people, and their talents will be very useful in our program.
Okay. A group of individuals who are probably behind bars, there's always a perspective. There's not too many of us who know that most of those people are probably wrongfully incarcerated.
Yeah.
So you come out and tell people that we need to form an organization and this is what we intend to do, and as such, trust me with your child for me to mentor them. What has been the response?
Oh, please come again.
It's all right. This is a group of young people out of the blues. Most people don't know that you've been in jail wrongfully, maybe, or that the experience behind bars actually reformed you if they originally perceived you as someone not so good. But then you come out and tell them, you know what, I feel reformed, I am reformed, and as such, I need you to trust me with your child in order for me to mentor them. How has been the response?
Okay, we also, the people who have reformed, they also have mentors continually. They have mentors themselves. And we role model, we'll put them in a place where they're able to, like, in the community forums, in the public forums, where they'll try and talk about the consequences of their actions. So they'll talk about that, you're going to lose out. If you get into crime, you're going to lose out a lot. You're going to go into jail, prison for 5 years. That means you're going to stop your schooling and you're going to lose. So because they have the experiences, so we give them that. They can be reformed persons, can be great role models. So we give them that opportunity. And again, because of their experience, they are best placed to narrate the consequences of the youth's actions when they engage into crime. Yeah.
The bit about these are people who've not really, who don't really have the full element of the fact that behind bars there's a lot that goes on, there's a lot of training that takes place, there's a lot of reforms, capacity building. Then you come out and they're thinking, we have this goody two-shoes feeling about ourselves, and as such we do not want to relate to things that we consider a bit off. So you approach a parent who thinks being behind bars is the worst thing that can happen to a human being, and you tell them, do you know what, I'm reformed now and I would need your child for the purpose of ensuring that they do not go through what I went through. How's been the response to that from the angles of our goody two-shoes individuals?
Okay, in the first place, this is my opinion, you're very lucky to even get into prison in the first time. You're very lucky because most young people who are engaged in crime, they will have been gunned down by police in the process. So you're actually very lucky to get into prison in the first time. And I think that's a second chance God gives people. And once you're in prison, and with the new reforms in the prisons, and they're able to gain more skills and become useful people later on. So
So you believe that by the time you're approaching a parent and they think the worst that happened to you was going to jail, and coming out of it and now you are willing to address a need, is actually something that they consider positively. They don't necessarily stigmatize you, or
there's hope. We give them hope in that.
You've not had that challenge when what has been at that point. I think it can lead me to my next reaction, which is what have been the challenges as an organization based on that background.
Okay. Like now, one of the challenges is to get there's a lot of broken families in informal settlements, and also to get the youth and the children and their guardians or parents together. It's a huge challenge. Most of the time you see that maybe some guardians or parents don't really care about what is going on with their children and the young people. So yeah, that is one of the challenges, to bring a reunion in it, because everyone in the family is doing their own things pretty much. And another challenge that we have is the insecurity in the informal settlement. There's really high insecurity and very little surveillance in terms of social actors, their role in the community, and also the partnership between community and the social actors. We're talking about the police and the police around the area. So there's little or no partnership there. And again, we don't have enough policemen, to enforce law, or rather maybe they're not even there. They're probably concentrated in a certain place, in a camp, in the chief's camp, but the other part of the slum is not surveyed. It's under yeah, it's just pretty much doing their own things. Yeah.
Okay. Any regrets? Was there any one time when you felt 2 years ago, perhaps, because the organization, July 2010, right now we are in September 2012, so that would make it 2 years. Within your 2 years, has there been a time when you felt, I wish I did not start on this program? This is way too much. If there is, what was that and how did you overcome that?
Oh, there's never been a time when we say that we never wish, because we know that this is it. This is the best thing to do, and because we want to see Korogocho a place where human rights are being accessed for everyone. So there's no regrets, despite the challenges that will always be there. Some of the challenges will always be there. Some will change over time. But there is no regrets because there's no any other way. And if we don't do this, then who else will do it?
Oh.
Yes.
We have the Ministry of Youth. We have the Health Ministry. Do you think they're doing enough, maybe where you come from your experience, do you think they're doing enough to address the issue of reproductive health among the youth?
We don't feel as if the youth are really much engaged in programs under the Ministry of Youth or any Ministry of Health that is in charge of that. It doesn't reach, a lot of help doesn't reach the grassroots, as most of the time it's reported. It doesn't reach the grassroots because that's why we went and want to deal with the grassroots.
These are young people who've actually decided to come out and do something. Hummingbird again. Let's hum on. In the meantime, I think this is the right time to take questions. Anybody who has questions, perhaps for Joyce or Julius?
Hi, I'm Javan from Naya. You said something about there's no proper surveillance. Now, you've also mentioned that directly that's from the police. The police vigilance is not enough there. There's not enough staff. And now I was just curiously wondering, how effective is your program in rehabilitating these former crime offenders, as you had said before? Because I believe you also mentioned something that at night there's no proper vigilance, so there is no guarantee. That is from on my side, that during the day you give them one thing to do, and then at night, is there like something monitored that you can follow up that this person has changed positively from one behavior to another? What guarantee is there? How effective is that program of yours?
Okay.
So far kama Brotherhood, naweza sema tuko na 20 trained youths kwa community policing. The man Gitadhuru area and Grogon. Korogocha has 9 villages. And so on, with the trained 20 youths, we are so limited to accessing the whole of Korogocho. But at that small area ya Korogocha, Gitadhuru na Grogon, these 20 guys, they reformed. Wanafanya community policing usiku, and wanagawana 10 do it in the evening, 10 wanafanya garbage collection mchana as a way of sustaining them into earning something.
I'm Sally Kimani from Kims, and my question is, once you've taken the prisoners who are out from prison, once they come home, do you mainly go to their homes particularly, ama you bring them in a certain room, maybe in a hall, you counsel them, ama how do you do it? Is it a follow-up at homes, or you do it in a seminary, maybe?
Okay, we have activities. Mainly one of the tools that we have found to be key in also continue the transformation process is sports. We engage them with sports, and so we have tournaments. And again, we also have a youth center. Though it's not fully equipped yet, we have a youth center. So we encourage them to come there and just access information and form friendly, healthy friendship and brotherhood, and also counseling if they need any counseling services. Yeah, we do a lot of close monitoring and follow-ups. But this has to be for the persons who are willing to reform and stay reformed. If there's by chance we notice that somebody is not willing to reform, we have no choice but drop them off.
I'm Sani Simir. I'm from Kimt. My question is about dealing with commercial workers. Okay, we understand that is a very tough and challenging issue. But you, as an organization, how do you change these people, and what kind of challenges are you facing while trying to change their lives?
Well, thank you so much. That's a very wonderful question. One thing we've done as Brotherhood is that we've managed to bring up a culture of savings among the commercial sex workers, and we are partnering with Kutoka Network, which is under the St. John's Catholic Church in Korogocho. And after we have encouraged them into savings what they have, the coordinator of the Kutoka Network, who is Father John Weborsa, gives them money to start a small business that they may sustain themselves. And another thing that we do is that we link them to potential employers under our surveillance. They can do household jobs, they can do gardenings, and any other thing that a person would want them to do, so that they may get off from that commercial sex work. Yeah.
Many of the times that on TAD Show, we're touching lives, and as we are touching lives, we're seeing that a lot of young people are coming out to do something. They're coming out to be that hummingbird that we keep talking about. Please, wherever you are, please remember that you can do something. Whatever it is that you see that you need to address, go ahead, address it. You are never too small. You're never too young. Thank you so much, Joyce, for coming. Tumeshukuru sana. We make up 70% of the population of this country. There's only 30% left. What does that mean? You need to stand up and be counted. Make sure your 70% impacts on the 30%. How are you going to do that as a Kenyan youth? Stand up, be counted. In whatever area it is that you can fulfill it, go ahead, be the hummingbird. I've been your host, Irina Yimba. I've been standing in for Noella. Thank you so much, our guests, Ms. Kuboka and Joyce, along with Julius. We've been very grateful for coming. We've had a wonderful audience. We've had Kenya Institute of Media Studies. We've had Kenya Institute of Professional Studies making up part of our audience. We are really, really grateful. As for the crew who made this show a possibility, we are so very thankful. We've had our DJ Rough Guards.
You're terrible.
Join us next week as we continue to touch lives. Meantime, join us on Facebook, The TAD Show. You can drop us an email, tadshow@kbc.co.ke. Until next week, have a wonderful evening.
Nzima kuna manzika Nairobi.
Machani leo hamtalala. Machani leo hamtalala.
Kaini manzi wa Nairobi amkwanze katika.
Machani leo hamtalala.
Kaini manzi wa Nairobi amkwanze katika. Kaini manzi wa Nairobi amkwanze katika. Piga duru. Sikio kwetu Afrika. Zima nchi zote lazima kelele itafika. Dunia nzima yana manzika Nairobi. Amekaramu safi bila njana mezitoa tobi. Kila siku na mwana chakti na maningo. Atokipita lazima.
Selector, bounce when I feed the girl them bubble pan. If you love to see the girl them a bubble, put up your hand. You play song, the girl star bus blank. Know the girl them time. Play song, the girl white. Watch, big selector, I play.